other news, Governor Fubara vows to prosecute arsonists in Rivers State. Abure calls for unity as court affirms him as national chairman of the Labour Party. And CBN establishes MOU with foreign regulators to Nigerian subsidiary banks abroad. Many thanks for joining us on News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I'm Simisa Latigo. Governor Siminalayi Fubara has vowed to bring to justice those responsible for setting fire to 3 local government secretariats in Rivers State. The incident occurred days after the Rivers State local government elections on October 5. The arson attacks on the Ikwere, Eleme and Emohua local government council secretariats followed the withdrawal of police officers securing the 23 council areas by the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetogun. Speaking during the swearing-in of 4 new commissioners to the Rivers State Executive Council at the Government House in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital, on Tuesday, Fubara said the perpetrators will not go unpunished as his administration will work with security agencies to identify and hold them accountable. He reiterated his commitment to strong leadership and assured the people that he will continue to govern the state responsibly. President Bola Tinubu says granting frivolous applications and delivering judgment based on technical grounds are impeding the war against corruption. Tinubu spoke through Vice President Kashim Shettima in Abuja while addressing judges and justices during a capacity building workshop organized by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) and National Judicial Institute. According to the president, judgments should be delivered based on the facts and merit of the case instead of technicalities. He urged the judiciary to ensure that the courts are equipped with the required knowledge to handle cases involving the new forms of crimes. Also speaking at the workshop, the chairman of the EFCC, Olau Lukoyede, lamented that court orders have prevented the commission from pursuing investigations on corruption cases in 10 states. He also complained about the frequent adjournment of high-profile cases and conflicting court orders secured by suspects to frustrate the commission in prosecution of corruption cases. Olukoyede thereafter called for collaboration between the commission and the judiciary in the fight against corruption in Nigeria. Let's discuss the role of the courts in the fight against corruption in Nigeria with legal practitioner Fred Nzako. Thank you, sir, for your time. Now, both the president and the EFCC chairman have touched on salient issues here. How much damage have these applications, which the president referred to as frivolous and then delayed judgments in courts, caused in the war against corruption in the country?
Well, it is very easy for the executive and the operators under the executive arm of government to very easily point accusing fingers at the judiciary for failure to fight corruption. President Muhammad Buhari did the same thing when he lamented that judiciary was a stumbling block in his government's bid to fight corruption. But the question is, where is the corruption coming from? The bulk of the corruption is coming from the executive. So if there is internal cleansing at the executive arm of government, the duties of anti-corruption agencies will be highly minimized. And if the anti-corruption agencies on their own do due diligence and do not play to the gallery or pander to public applause on a media trial, then they will be getting their acts right, and then their fight against corruption will be very meaningful. I think the issue does not lie with the judiciary, and I will not agree with anybody who says that judiciary or the court processes impede the fight against corruption, because without the court processes, you cannot be a complainant and a judge in your own matter. The court must look at the issue because sometimes there could be unnecessary bias, there could be political connotation, there could be unnecessary attack on perceived opponents of government, in which case the anti-corruption agencies will now be used as attack dogs to even out with the opponents. And it is only judiciary that will come to the rescue of such persons. So I completely disagree with the position of Mr. President and that of the EFCC chairman.
Now, you would agree that in recent times, conflicting court orders have been a major challenge, especially in Nigeria's political realm. As a legal expert, what moves do you think should be taken to curb this trend?
Yes, I agree that there are some cases of conflicting judgments and orders from courts, especially when the courts are of coordinate jurisdiction. But again, it is the politicians that set the trap for the judiciary. It is the politicians that expose the judiciary to such public opprobrium. Even though I'm not holding brief for the judiciary because they are supposed to live above board. A judge or a justice of the court is supposed to live above board and should not pander to the whims of politicians, such that conflicting judgments will be coming out from the various courts. But in order to curb that, the judiciary has to adopt its internal cleansing mechanism through the office of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, acting as the chairman of the National Judicial Council, as an institution that has the authority and the constitutional statutory right to sanction any erring judge that must have misconducted himself or herself, and then also improve the welfare of judges, and everything concerning the welfare and issues around the judges lie in the realm of the National Judicial Council. So we need to establish the fact that the NJC needs to work harder than what it is doing today to ensure that judges and justices of the courts, especially courts of record, do not give conflicting judgment. Usually, the problems are essentially at the level of the High Court, either the Federal High Court, the State High Court, or the High Court of the FCT. That is where the problem lies mainly. Sometimes we have incidences where some justices of the Court of Appeal will undermine order or justices of Superior Court, which is the Supreme Court. So, but in all, it is the NJC that will ensure that there is sanity in that respect.
A legal expert, Fred Nzako, we appreciate your thoughts on this. Thank you for talking to us, sir. Moving on, in a momentous ruling, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has reaffirmed Julius Abure as the national chairman of the Labour Party, solidifying his leadership after a legal battle that threatened to destabilize the party. In his ruling, Justice Emeka Nwite validated the Labour Party's convention held in Norway, Anambra State, and ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to duly recognize Abure's leadership. The ruling comes after INEC failed to recognize Abure as the party national chairman, insisting that his re-election at the convention violated Nigeria's constitution and the Electoral Act. The electoral body then excluded his faction from its refresher training to update party agents ahead of the Edo and Ondo states off-cycle governorship elections. Reacting to the court judgment, Abure called for reflection, repentance, and restitution, while calling on party divisions to support his reconciliatory moves. Well, earlier on, I spoke to legal expert Evan Ufeli to get his thoughts on the ruling by the Federal High Court in Abuja declaring Julius Abure as the substantive national chairman of the Labour Party. I began by asking him if the ruling will put to rest all contending issues fueling the leadership crisis in the party.
INEC can no longer continue to contend with the judgment of the court now, except it's going on appeal. Of course, that interference was for the court to make a declaration of. Because when this thing broke out the first time, when INEC said all this, I did say then that INEC does not have the capacity to declare Abure invalid or his chairmanship of the party void. I said it then. That's even before Abure went to court. So Abure now has gone to court, or has gone to the authority that have the powers under the law to declare his actions or inactions valid or invalid. Now, having gone to the court now have made its pronouncement. And this pronouncement is that, it remains the substantive, chairman. He remains the substantive chairman. And that the process that got him re-elected has been validated by the court. And as such, the court, everyone, the orders for everyone to now recognize him, including INEC, as the substantive chairman of the Labour Party as we speak. So the attempt made by the Abia State governor, Alex Oti, with the setting up a committee that will midwife a new convention to get a new school, which Nenadi Usman was asked to chair. All those are now completely set aside.
The Lagos State Safety Commission has restated its commitment to work with Nigerian artisans and technicians, including all stakeholders, in implementing safety systems to prevent accidents and ensure that everyone is safe at home and at workplaces. The Director General, Lagos State Safety Commission, Lanre Mojola, made the pronouncement on Tuesday at the opening ceremony of the 2024 Nigerian Artisans and Technicians Conference. According to him, estimates by the International Labour Organization reveal that 395 million accidents occur annually, adding that these numbers underscore the persistent challenges in safeguarding the health and safety of workers globally, hence the need for the Safety Commission to take action.
As part of its efforts to ensure quality business development service, BDS, to MSMEs, the government has licensed more than 150 qualified business development service providers based on a national framework, accreditation and accreditation to standardize the provision of business development service for MSMEs in Nigeria. This provides professional support and quality assurance of business development services to MSMEs.
The International Labour Organization, the ILO, estimates that roughly 350 million accidents occur annually. And out of these 350 million accidents, roughly 3 million people lose their lives. These numbers underscore the persistent challenges in safeguarding the health and safety of workers globally, and therefore the need for us to take action. As the Safety Commission, we will continue to work with all stakeholders in putting safety systems first to prevent accidents. Our goal is to ensure that everyone is safe at home, at work, at play, and also in public places.
What we have seen today, I can assure you that safety has gone to another level in Lagos State among the informal sector. And the informal sector, of course, we have so many of them. We have them in different categories. We have the builders, we have the auto, we have them in food sector, in ICT, we have the fashion, and and so on. So all of them, with what they have seen today, I'm sure they are going to take safety more serious than how they have been.
Still in Lagos, the state government is set to induct 10 female chairmen and 47 wives of council chairmen and local council development areas to innovate, educate and lend their voices in combating tuberculosis in the state. The wife of the governor, Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, and state ambassador for tuberculosis said this at a news briefing on the investiture of the ambassadors, inauguration of OFIL Lagos Steering Committee for Tuberculosis and Stop TB partnerships with the Lagos State government organized by the Office of the First Lady. While giving statistics of people in Lagos State affected by tuberculosis, she emphasized on the need for collaboration among stakeholders to combat the disease, which is preventable and curable if detected early, as it posed significant challenges to global health.
Let's work. Let's re-strategize, break the old protocols, produce new SOPs, new protocols to eliminate the stigma associated with TB and ensure people go and receive the service they deserve. Once again, it is noteworthy to mention that TB is preventable, TB is curable, and diagnosis and treatment is free. Anyone with cough of more than 2 weeks should visit the directly observed therapy short course known as DOTS centers in over our 301 primary healthcare centers, our 30 general hospitals, and some selected private hospitals across the 20 LGAs and LCDAs in the state.
To our new inductees, partners, and other TB stakeholders, we offer our heartfelt congratulations and appreciation. Your leadership as female chairmen and wives of chairmen of 57 local government areas and LCDAs will help shape a brighter future for Lagos, where no one has to suffer from TB alone.
The state has really put in a lot of efforts, both technically and financially. But we know that the population of the state is so high, and a larger percentage of our population are people from the middle and the low socioeconomic class. Although tuberculosis is no respecter of social class, people's status, your financial status, or whoever you are. It cuts across the rich, the middle income population, and the low income population. So a good number of clients or patients are really being affected by tuberculosis within the low socioeconomic class. Lagos has done a lot, and we're still doing more.
We'll take a break here. When News Now returns, Kenya Vice President faces impeachment for corruption and supporting protests. We'll give you details shortly. Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. Governor Siminalayi Fubara has vowed to bring justice to those responsible for setting fire to 3 local government secretariats in Rivers State. The arson attacks on the Ikwere, Eleme and Emoa local government council secretariats followed the withdrawal of police officers securing the 23 council areas by the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun. Speaking during the swearing-in of 4 new commissioners to the Rivers State Executive Council at the Government House in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital, on Tuesday, Fubara said the perpetrators will not go unpunished, as his administration will work with security agencies to identify and hold them accountable. We also informed you that the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has reaffirmed Julius Abure as the national chairman of the Labour Party, solidifying his leadership after a legal battle that threatened to destabilize the party. In his ruling, Justice Emeka Wite validated the Labour Party's convention held in Nnewi, Anambra State, and ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to duly recognize Abure's leadership. Reacting to the court judgment, Abure called for reflection, repentance, and restitution, while calling on party divisions to support his reconciliatory moves. In case you missed any of our news bulletins, or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Let's join Joy Uchejim, who is on standby with the latest in the world of business. Over to you, Joy.
Thank you, Simi. Well, on business, in a significant move aimed at bolstering regulatory oversight, the Central Bank of Nigeria has established a memorandum of understanding with foreign regulators to supervise Nigerian banks with subsidiaries in other countries. The acting director of corporate communications, Hakama Sidi Ali, disclosed this in a statement on Tuesday, explaining that this targeted approach will enable the CBN to maintain strong oversight while supporting the overall stability of the banking sector. He said that CBN remains dedicated to fostering a secure banking environment where depositors can be fully confident in the safety of their funds. While supporting the move by the CBN, the Chief Executive Officer of the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, Muda Yusuf, says it's equally important for the bank to ensure strict compliance with regulations.
Well, it's a good move. In my view, I think the whole idea is to ensure that apart from the domestic regulatory framework and oversight within the country, for some of these countries that have subsidiaries abroad, it makes sense to collaborate with regulators, financial sector regulators in countries in which they have subsidiaries, so that they can share information, and that will help to strengthen the regulatory effectiveness of the central bank. So it's a very good collaboration. It's a framework that is good to have a holistic view, of the operations of Nigerian banks that have foreign subsidiaries, because the central bank doesn't have offices all over the world. They can, because of subsidiaries, be opening branches here and there. And there's a limit to which you can properly exercise oversight over subsidiaries that are not within the country. The whole essence of regulation is to ensure that the banks are transparent and that they play by the rules in the interest of the larger economy. So what I think should happen, or what I think is happening, is that the CBN is just strengthening its regulatory effectiveness. And the whole essence of regulatory effectiveness is to promote accountability, to promote transparency, and to ensure that the banks don't engage in anything that will compromise, the policies of government, or that will undermine the economic objectives of the present administration.
We'll take a short break and return with more updates from the stock market. It's the second weekday of trading, and the bears reigned on Nigeria's equities market, dropping by 0.12%. Now, on the losers chart, Guinness Nigeria came out last with an end-of-day price depreciation of 10% at 61 naira 20 kobo, followed by Africa Prudential, which ended the day's trade at 9 naira 60 kobo. Now, at the end of Tuesday's trading session on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a total of 719 million shares in 9,435 deals, corresponding to a market value of 8.3 billion naira, were traded. Now, on global stocks, it's a rapid turn of events as the positive close for Japan's Nikkei and the UK's FTSE on Monday trading session were dropped for bearish closes on Tuesday after details over China's stimulus disappointed and investors' focus shifts to upcoming US inflation data and corporate earnings. Meanwhile, the US stock indexes enjoyed a bullish close. Now, in the foreign exchange market, the naira depreciated further against the US dollar on the black market at 1,680 naira, but remained the same against the British pound at 2,270 naira, while the euro stands at 1,870 naira on the black market. That's the both business and stock market reports. Back to you, Simi, for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Joy. On the foreign scene, Kenya's Vice President Rigathi Gachagua is dealing with impeachment proceedings from the National Assembly over allegations of supporting the violent anti-government protests that rocked the East African nation back in June. The lawmakers accused Gachagua of corruption, practicing ethnically divisive politics and undermining the government, amongst a host of other charges. The 59-year-old politician has described the allegations against him as outrageous and sheer propaganda, maintaining they are part of a plot to hound him out of office. He is expected to appear before Parliament to defend himself before the vote, after which impeachment proceedings will move to the Senate. In Norway, the Police Security Service has raised its terrorism threat assessment to the second highest level due to an increased risk of attacks against Jewish and Israeli targets. In a statement by the police, the terror threat level increased from moderate to high as a result of the ongoing escalation of the conflict in the Middle East. According to the National Police Directorate, Norwegian police officers who are normally unarmed will now carry guns nationwide as a result of the decision by the PSD Security Service to raise the threat level. Well, up next is Entertainment Report on News Now.
Nollywood film Farmer's Bride has recorded another remarkable feat, grossing 89 million naira since its release on September 27, 2024. The film earned 37 million naira in its opening weekend and was also the highest grossing Nollywood film in its opening weekend for an 18-rated film, and the overall fourth highest grossing Nollywood movie in its opening weekend in 2024. It is directed by Adebayo Tijani and Jack Eneth Opukeme. In an official statement, the producers and directors, Filmon Entertainment, announced the achievement on October 7, 2024. Set in the 1980s in Ibadan, Farmer's Bride tells the tale of Odun, a wealthy, lonely farmer who seeks solace in marriage with a young bride, Funmi. Taylor Swift is now the world's richest female musician. The 34-year-old is the first musician to enter the billionaire league solely on her songs and music performances. This is because of the value of her music catalog and her Eras tour. As of Monday, October 7, 2024, Forbes has confirmed that Taylor Swift is the richest female musician in the world with a net worth of $1.6 billion. Based on Swift's net worth, she has now become the second richest musician in the world, coming right after Jay-Z, who is worth around $2.5 billion. And that's your entertainment report on News Now. Joy Uchejum, TV 360 Lagos.
Finally, on sport, President of the Nigeria Football Federation, Ibrahim Gusau, has expressed confidence that the Super Eagles will still qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup despite a poor start. The three-time AFCON champions are yet to win a single game in their qualifiers, playing 3 1-1 draws before falling to a defeat against the Ghana Benin Republic back in June. With 3 points from 3 games, the Super Eagles are 5th in a group of 6 nations, 4 points behind South Africa, Rwanda and the Republic of Benin. That's it on News Now. Many thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.